You didn't just click on this, you were drawn here. Maybe you can't explain why, but lately, something's been shifting. Small signs, strange dreams, a heaviness you can't name. A sense that life is whispering quietly through the noise. This video didn't come to teach you something new. It came to remind you of something old, something deep inside, just starting to stir. Because when your frequency begins to change, the world responds. You see different things. You feel different things. And somehow, without trying, you find yourself exactly where you need to be. This isn't just another video. It's a doorway. And the moment you stepped into it, a different kind of signal began to reach you. Welcome back. There's a strange kind of tiredness that no amount of sleep fixes. You go to bed exhausted, and somehow you wake up feeling heavier. Not just in your body, but in your spirit. It's like the current of life that used to carry you gently forward has gone quiet. And you're left pushing, rowing, grinding through the day without knowing why it all feels so hard. You look around and everything seems fine. You're not in crisis, you're not falling apart, but deep down something feels off, a subtle ache, like a song that's out of tune but you can't quite place the wrong note. Maybe your patience is thinner. Conversations feel hollow. You forget why you walked into a room or why your to-do list suddenly feels meaningless. You keep checking your phone for a distraction that never quite satisfies. And a quiet voice in the back of your mind keeps whispering, something isn't right. That voice isn't your anxiety. It's your vibration. Let's be real, most of us were never taught to think in terms of energy. We were taught to think in terms of effort. Do more, fix more, learn more, become more. But if you've ever felt like your life is stuck in slow motion, despite how hard you're trying, that's not a motivation problem. That's an energy problem. Everything in existence vibrates. That's not just a metaphor, it's science. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." From your heartbeat to your thoughts, you're broadcasting a signal, constantly. And here's the twist. The universe isn't responding to what you say you want. It's responding to what you're actually vibrating. That means if you're walking through your day with a tight chest, looping thoughts, and that low hum of dread, no matter how positive your affirmations are, your actual signal is stress, is misalignment. And that signal ripples out into everything: your relationships, your work, your timing, your opportunities. They all begin to shift around what you're unconsciously radiating. Misalignment doesn't always announce itself. It creeps in. It disguises itself as boredom, procrastination, restlessness, or apathy. You miss a text. You forget an appointment. Someone close to you says, "You don't seem like yourself." And maybe you laugh it off. But deep down, you know they're right. Because your external life is just a mirror of your frequency. You don't have to believe in mysticism to feel this. Have you ever walked into a room after an argument and felt the tension lingering in the air? That's vibration. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt drawn to them or repelled by them for no logical reason? That's frequency talking. Our bodies are receivers. We pick up on energy long before our minds explain it. So when your own energy is misaligned, you become disoriented. Your intuition gets fuzzy. You lose that sense of flow where things just work. Instead, life starts to feel like wading through water with weights on your ankles. And here's where most people make the mistake: they try to hustle their way out of it. They change jobs, move cities, break up, start over. And sometimes those changes help. But if the core vibration doesn't shift, the same patterns follow them to the next chapter. Because alignment is not about circumstances. It's about coherence. When your inner world is aligned, your thoughts, your emotions, your nervous system, you become a clear signal. You stop sending mixed messages to the universe. You stop attracting chaos and start attracting clarity. But when your vibration is scattered, when you're saying one thing, thinking another, and feeling something entirely different, that dissonance becomes your broadcast. And that's what life responds to. The truth is, you can't fake vibration. You can only feel it. And if what you feel most days is numb, anxious, or lost, that's not a personal failing. That's your system telling you something out of tune. But here's the beauty: vibration is fluid. It's not locked in. It's not fixed. It's not your fate. It's feedback. A living, breathing compass that's always pointing you back to your center. So the question isn't, what's wrong with me? The question is, what am I broadcasting and why? When you ask that, not from judgment but from curiosity, you start to shift. You begin to tune back into the quiet intelligence within you, the one that remembers what it feels like to be grounded, to feel like yourself again. And once you reconnect to that place, everything around you starts to change. Not because you forced it, but because you became coherent. You started vibrating in harmony with who you really are. That's why energy misalignment matters, because it doesn't just affect how you feel. It's creating your life. There's a whisper in your mornings that's hard to hear, but it's growing louder each day. You wake up, hit snooze maybe more than once. Your alarm rings, but it feels like a drill too far from your core. You roll over, hoping tomorrow will be easier, but it never is. It's not exhaustion, it's vibration collapse. Maybe you notice you're snapping at your partner, but in the kind of way that hurts your own heart. Or maybe you scroll through social media and find yourself feeling hollow by the end of it, even though you were just looking for connection. You struggle to summon enthusiasm or even curiosity for anything beyond the next task on your list. Everything feels sticky, resistant, as if the world is moving and you're not. This is survival mode. It's as if your brain has sent out a memo. Proceed carefully. Not everything needs your attention. Rest when you can. Survival mode doesn't feel dramatic. It's quiet, creeping, but its impact, immense. When you're in survival, you're not alive. Not really. You're just surviving. And survival mode isn't a sign that you're lazy or unmotivated. It's your vibration signaling that something deeper is misfiring. I've seen this play out in comment after comment under videos like this one. One person wrote, "I've read dozens of books on manifestation and energy. I've watched hundreds of videos. I truly thought I had the formula, but nothing changed." Do those words feel familiar? I've heard them before, and they carry a weight. It's not exhaustion from information overload. It's exhaustion of the spirit. Here's what's happening. You're trying to pour energy into your life from an empty cup. You've learned about gratitude, mindfulness, visualization, but if your vibration is operating in low charge, those tools bounce off like throwing stones at concrete. They look like they should help, but they don't. Why? Because energy attracts its own match. You're not attracting what you want. You're attracting what you are. If your inner field is stressed, depleted, or shell-shocked from life's friction, the universe doesn't see your wish list. It sees your baseline, and it responds in kind. That's why you wake up late. Why you feel irritable around people you love. Why opportunities vanish just before you reach for them. Why trust feels fragile and drive feels like distant thunder, always heard, never felt. This is the collapse I'm talking about. This is vibration collapse. And the science of resonance backs it up. Energy fields don't lie. They don't manipulate. They simply carry what is. If your field is echoing exhaustion, the world reflects it back in patterns. Accidents, miscommunications, minor conflicts, repeated blocks. They feel like life because they are, but they're based on energy, not malice or failure. What you're experiencing isn't a personal tragedy. It's a mirror, a feedback loop, a cosmic echo that's simply saying, I'm here, fix me. But here's the thing. Compassion is key, not shame. This isn't your fault. This isn't proof you're broken, it's proof you're human, and proof that humanity wears thin sometimes. The deepest empathy I can offer you now is this: you are not alone. Every person who's ever felt stuck has felt this way. You're not a failure for feeling depleted. You're awake enough to sense the malfunction. So let's hold this moment together. You're reading these words because something inside you is still resonant, still listening. That faint reaction you felt when you first saw this video, that pulse of curiosity, you can use that to anchor your shift. This isn't about self-flagellation or motivational mantras. It's about returning to your baseline, resetting your energy so your internal field doesn't collapse under the routines of life. And once your frequency starts to realign slowly, gently, you'll notice it. You'll wake up without aggression in your chest. You'll have real conversations, not just small talk. You'll attract opportunities that fit, not just those you chase. It doesn't come from reading yet another book. It comes from returning to your own field, listening to its needs, healing the misfires, because survival mode isn't sustainable. It's just a holding pattern, and you are ready to land on purpose, rather than drifting. Let's strip away the jargon and get to the core of it, because the law of vibration isn't some esoteric mystery locked away in ancient temples. It's the foundational rhythm behind everything. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every choice you make, it all carries a frequency. And that frequency, it's what determines what shows up in your life. Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He wasn't being poetic, he was being precise. From the structure of atoms to the beat of your heart, everything vibrates. Nothing in this universe is truly still. The couch you're sitting on, the phone in your hand, even your silence, it all has movement beneath the surface. And here's the kicker: you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Not who you think you are, not what you're trying to be, but the energy you emit right now. Think of your vibration like a radio frequency. If you're broadcasting on 88, 0, you can't hear the messages being played on 102. 5, no matter how badly you want to hear them, you simply won't receive them because you're not tuned in. The universe works the same way. It's not ignoring you, it's simply responding to your frequency. Now, let's bring this down to earth. Ever walked into a room and instantly felt tension? No one had to say a word, but you could feel it: heaviness in the air, tightness in your chest. That's vibration. Or maybe you've met someone who just radiated calm or joy. Again, vibration. You didn't see it, but you sensed it. That's how we communicate long before words. The law of vibration isn't about being fake happy or pushing down hard truths. It's about becoming brutally honest with yourself about what your energy is really saying. Because even when your mouth says, "I'm fine," your vibration is broadcasting something else. And the universe, it listens to that frequency, not your words. According to HeartMath Institute, your heart has an electromagnetic field that extends several feet outside your body. This field changes depending on your emotional state. Gratitude, compassion, and love strengthen it. Fear, anger, and shame distort it. This isn't woo-woo, it's measurable. When you feel off, it's not just in your head. Your whole energy field is out of sync. This is why it's not enough to say affirmations or read self-help books. If the underlying vibration doesn't shift, your results won't either. You'll stay stuck, repeating the same patterns, attracting the same outcomes, because your energy is speaking louder than your intentions. But here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your life to change your frequency. Real change starts in the invisible, in the pause, in the moment you stop, breathe, and notice what's really going on beneath your surface. When you get quiet enough to feel the hum of your being, you start to tune the signal. Instead of forcing a better outcome, start by listening to the one you're already living. Your current reality isn't a punishment. It's feedback, a mirror showing you the frequency you've been sending out so you can adjust, not judge. And remember, authenticity carries more power than perfection. You don't raise your vibration by faking good vibes. You raise it by aligning with what's real, even when that's messy. Especially when that's messy. So the next time you feel off track, ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? Not what am I trying to manifest, not what am I pretending to feel, but what energy am I truly standing in? Because that's the frequency that's shaping your world. And the law of vibration, it's not personal, it's precise. Like gravity, it works whether you believe in it or not. So tune wisely. This isn't fluff. This is the foundation. Most mornings, it feels like the world is rushing ahead before you've even opened your eyes. Your phone buzzes. The to-do list screams. And underneath it all, there's this quiet ache like you're waking up on the wrong frequency. You're doing all the things. You meditate when you can. You journal when you remember. You try to stay positive. But still, something feels stuck. Here's the truth no one really says out loud. Raising your vibration isn't about adding more to your plate, it's about returning to what already lives inside you. And the most powerful shifts, they often begin in silence. Let's start with gratitude not as a trend, but as a tuning fork. Science backs it now. Gratitude doesn't just feel good, it changes your actual frequency. Studies show it resonates at around 540 megahertz, way above the average human baseline. That means when you consciously name what you're thankful for, you're not just making a list, you're aligning your signal. It's subtle but powerful, like adjusting a radio station just enough to get rid of static. That's why we begin with something simple. Before you even get out of bed, whisper 3 things you're grateful for. Do it before the world grabs your attention. It takes 15 seconds, but it tells your nervous system, we start from enough. Then there's mindfulness, the pause between thought and reaction. Think of your mind like a crowded room. Every mindful breath dims the noise. You don't need a retreat or incense or a fancy cushion. You just need to be where you are. Washing a dish with full attention can raise your vibration more than a chaotic 20-minute meditation. Because presence has a frequency too, and it's one of the highest. Your environment, it's not just background, it's part of your energetic field. That playlist you always have on, it's tuning you. That clutter in the corner, it's talking to your subconscious. You don't need to renovate your life. Just shift one thing today. Light a candle. Step barefoot into the grass. Open a window. Small, intentional choices change your field faster than any massive overhaul. Movement is next, not exercise, but motion. Gentle, intuitive movement that helps your body release what your mind keeps rehashing. Science calls it fascia release. Your body calls it liberation. That tension in your shoulders, that knot in your stomach, it's just energy waiting to move. 5 minutes of stretching with breath can clear what hours of overthinking can't. And finally, the quietest ritual of all, letting go. Pick one thought you've been carrying all day. Hold it gently. Ask, is this helping me vibrate where I want to be? If it's not, thank it and set it down. Not in anger, not in force, but with love. Because sometimes the most radical act of healing is to stop rehearsing the worst and start trusting the now. All of these rituals are not about perfection. They're about practice. They're about presence. When done with intention, they aren't tasks, they're transitions. Each one is a doorway back to yourself, to the frequency you were always meant to broadcast. So no, you don't need a guru. You don't need another book. You need space to remember. You're not broken, you're just out of tune. And today, you tune back in. You don't always notice when your energy starts defaulting into survival. It sneaks in. One day, you're bracing for everything. You wake up and immediately scan for threats, subtle, internal alarms. A late reply, a creak in the floor, a moment of silence. There's tension in your jaw, tightness in your chest. You check your phone with that tired ritual. Are you late? Are you missing out? Are you safe? Doctor. David Hawkins built a vibrational scale of consciousness that maps these energies. Below 200, you're in survival mode: fear, shame, guilt, struggle. Above 200, you shift into creation, courage, willingness, acceptance, love. That barrier is subtle, but it's massive. Living below it isn't just hard, it's restrictive. Creation can't bloom out of fear, because fear doesn't create, it contracts. It holds us small, keeps us safe. But safe can become a cage. And stay just long enough, survival becomes comfort. The mind tells you, I may be stuck, but at least I'm in control. The nervous system believes it, and before long, you're wearing fear like a favorite sweater, familiar, even comforting. When you live below 200, you're not lazy. You're locked in a system designed to protect you. Unfortunately, that same system limits your growth. You can read every self-help guide in the world, but until you shift your field, you're still vibrating in caution, not courage. The real pivot happens when you choose to awake your active energy field. This isn't about pushing harder. It's about pausing, recognizing your position on the scale, and gently moving into a new resonance. Because energy attracts like energy. It's the law of resonance, a natural law like gravity. If your current is survival, you'll pull in more fear-tinged opportunities and experiences. But when your current shifts, your world does too. It's not magic, it's navigation. Your field doesn't chase results, it attracts them. Think of it like tuning a guitar. You don't hit every string harder to make it sound right. You tune it, then it plays beautifully. When your field is tuned above 200, your life resonates. Conversations flow. People respond to your frequency. Doors that once felt locked begin to open. But if you're still vibrating in survival, everything in your world shrinks to match it. Here's where agency comes in. You don't need to rewrite your whole story. You just need to choose survival or creation. And that choice happens in a moment, a breath. When you catch yourself thinking, what if it all falls apart? And take a second longer. Breathe heartfully. Remember, you have the power to shift your frequency now. That choice doesn't erase life's challenges. It changes your signal. Once the vibration is higher, your experience shifts too. Maybe you face the same test, but you don't have to answer from fear. Maybe the opportunity is the same, but now you can step forward grounded in courage. You don't have to change your job, your partner, your history. You just change your field. and the field shapes everything else because physics responds before psychology. Here's a simple way to practice. Challenge your daily thoughts with choice. Not denial, but invitation. Instead of "I can't handle this," try "I am willing to feel this differently." Instead of "What if I fail?" ask "What if I rise?" That's it, tiny shifts in wording, tiny shifts in vibration. But over time, those shifts ripple outward into your choices, your relationships, your sense of possibility. You're done surviving. You're ready to create. The field is waiting. The power is in the breath. And today, you get to choose which frequency you emit. There comes a moment quiet, almost imperceptible, when something inside you shifts. You're no longer chasing, striving, proving. The endless reaching begins to dissolve. It feels like a soft exhale, a return. This isn't just some poetic metaphor. It's a vibrational shift. And when it happens, the world around you begins to reflect a different rhythm. Opportunities appear, people respond, life feels synced, as if you finally tuned into the frequency that was meant for you all along. And the most surprising part, you didn't do more. You became more aligned. Most people spend their lives like antennas, trying to find a signal, turning left and right, tweaking, amplifying, hoping something will catch. But what if you realized the signal wasn't out there? What if you knew you were the broadcaster? That's what the law of vibration has been trying to whisper all along. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And when you align your being with a higher frequency, you become magnetic, not metaphorically, but energetically. So how do you raise your frequency? What opens that invisible gate? Gratitude, not the performative kind. Not the list you write because a coach told you to. I mean the real, cellular kind, the one that makes your chest warm. That moves you to tears on an ordinary Tuesday morning, just because the sun found its way through the window. Science backs this up. HeartMath Institute has shown that true gratitude doesn't just feel good, it reprograms your nervous system. It shifts your heart rate variability, boosts your immune function, and heightens your intuition. The University of California, Berkeley found that regular gratitude practice literally rewires the brain, increasing the density of gray matter in regions associated with empathy and joy. When you're in that state, your energy changes. And because of that, your field begins to broadcast a signal that is both elevated and irresistible. This is why, when gratitude becomes your baseline, chasing becomes obsolete. You're no longer trying to pull life toward you. Life flows to where your energy already lives. You've probably heard people say, "Just be grateful," as if it were a band-aid. But in truth, gratitude is not an escape from reality. It is a return to reality, the deeper one, the one where your internal state creates external outcomes, where your energy speaks before your words ever do. You're not manipulating reality. You're meeting it at a higher octave. And the gateway to that octave is within your reach every single day. Start simple. Before your feet touch the floor in the morning, name 3 things you're thankful for, not from your head, but from your heart. Let it rise like a frequency, not a checklist. Because here's what you need to remember. You are the magnet, and the world, believe it or not, is always listening to your frequency. Not what you say, not what you hope for, but what you're being. And gratitude, it's the song your soul's been waiting to sing. You didn't find this message by accident. Maybe it echoed something you've been feeling, a quiet tug, a strange clarity, a sense that something old is ready to fall away. But this isn't a push. There's no pressure here, just an invitation to choose your frequency with intention, to mute the noise you've outgrown, To tune in to something quieter, deeper yours, so take a breath. Place your hand on your heart and write down one thing you're grateful for right now. That's it. That's your first broadcast into a new reality. The signal's already there. You're just learning how to listen.